Hi, third grade. Today is Wednesday, May 20th. It's packet 5, day 8, and I'm going to go over it for you. So let's start with our Smart Notebook. So day 8, May 20th, 2020. And your first task, let's view this in full screen so you can see the whole thing, was to choose a word for each suffix listed on the suffix chart. You can use the words already listed on the chart or come up with a word on your own. Write each word on a separate blank card. Mix these new cards with the cards from day 1 to play memory. Lay the 18 cards down in 3 rows of 6 cards. So remember, rows go from left to right. Columns go up and down. So you're going to have 3 rows, 6 in each row, or 6 columns, 6 cards in each row. So that will be 18 cards total. Now, players will turn over 3 cards that must match. Make sure you are using your memory. So you should be able to turn over 3 cards that have the same suffix. Okay, so what I did, I'm not going to play the memory game, but I am going to show you some examples of each of the suffixes from your chart. So I went ahead and copied the chart, and you can see in my examples, I copied the examples that they gave, and then the ones in red are a few extras that I gave. These aren't the only words that have those suffixes. They're just, I decided to do 5 extra of each one. If you're not sure about your word with the suffix, you can always look it up, ask your parents, or email your teacher. So the suffix ly, remember a suffix goes at the end of the word, means to describe. It describes something. So if you're doing something greatly, then you're doing it great. If something happens monthly, then it's once a month. So the rest of the words are likely, truly, happily, easily, weakly, and sadly. Your next suffix was ful at the end of the word, and that means full of. That one's pretty easy to remember because the meaning's kind of in the suffix itself. So joyful means full of joy. Eventful means like there was a lot going on. There was a lot of events. Hopeful means full of hope, and so on. So the rest of your words that I gave were successful, cheerful, helpful, fearful, and painful. Your next one is words that end with the suffix ed, and those are past tense verbs. Remember, a verb describes what you were doing. It's an action. So when you did it in the past, sometimes you have to put an ed at the end. The examples that they gave were hopped, looked, and handed. Hopped means you hopped in the past. The examples that I gave were jumped, laughed, baked, mixed, typed. And there's a lot of past tense verbs that end with the suffix ed. So like I said, if you're not sure, you can ask your parents, you can look it up, or you can email your teacher. Now, the next 2 are comparing suffixes. You have est at the end, and you have er at the end. Er happens when you're comparing 2 things. So I'm going to skip down to er before I go back to est. So er means you're comparing 2 things. So one example that they gave was higher. So you could say that building is higher than this building. Another one they gave was faster. So that car is faster than the other car. Bigger, longer, taller, smarter, nicer, meaner. So usually ER comes when you are comparing 2 things. EST usually comes when you are comparing 3 or more things. So biggest, it means that's the biggest out of all of them. Fastest, smartest, longest, tallest, highest, nicest, meanest. So both of those, remember, are comparing. They're used to compare, but ER is just when you have 2 things, and EST is when you have 3 or more. And then the last one is another ER, but this one means one who. So it's like somebody who does something. So a worker is somebody who works. A teacher is somebody who teaches. A painter is somebody who paints, and so on. The key to knowing which ER suffix is being used in the word is the base word. Work is the base word. So work is not a describing word, so it wouldn't be used to compare. You only use describing words to compare. Work is not a describing word, so ER at the end means one who. Same with teach, paint, bank, drive, speak, catch, and lead. None of those are describing words. So if they're describing words, then they're being used to compare. And if it's if the root word has an ER at the end and it is not a describing word, then it probably means one who does something. I hope that made sense. I know it can be a little bit confusing, especially in this manner of learning it. So like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and just let your teacher know. Okay, the next thing was reading, and it said listen to One Tiny Turtle, or read or have someone read to you the nonfiction article Trouble in the Ocean. So we're gonna together listen to Tiny Turtle on YouTube, and then I will read to you the article. So let's see if I can just get this. It's gonna take just a minute for my screen to share the YouTube. Okay, here we go. All right, and I'm just gonna play this for you and you can watch along.
One Tiny Turtle. About turtles. Sea turtles are related to tortoises and terrapins. They are all reptiles. Sea turtles are great wanderers, traveling thousands of miles each year, often far from land. This makes them difficult to study. So scientists are only just beginning to find out about their mysterious lives. There are 7 species of sea turtles. This book is about the loggerhead turtle. Loggerheads live in seas all over the world. One Tiny Turtle by Nicola Davies, illustrated by Jane Chapman. Far, far out to sea, land is only a memory. An empty sky touches the water. Just beneath the surface is a tangle of weed and driftwood where tiny creatures cling. This is the nursery of a sea turtle. Passing in a boat, you might not notice the turtle. Not much bigger than a bottle top, she hides in the green shadows. She is a baby, so her shell is soft as old leather. Just a little fish bite could rip it open. But the turtle is safe in her world of weed and snaps her beak on tiny crabs and shrimps. Turtles have shells that cover their backs and shells that cover their stomachs. The shells are made from bony plates that get bigger and harder as the turtle grows. The turtle swims around, flapping her long front flippers like wings. She is flying underwater. She pokes her pinprick nostrils through the silver surface to take a quick breath, so fast, blink, and you'd miss it. Then she's gone, diving down into her secret life again. Fish breathe underwater. But turtles are reptiles and need to come up to the surface for air. They do this every 4 to 5 minutes when they are active. When they are asleep, they can stay underwater for hours. For 3 or 4 years, maybe more, the turtle rides out the storms and floats through the hot calms. Steadily, she outgrows her nursery. Nobody sees her leave, but when you look for her, she has vanished all the same. A year or two later, she turns up close to land. Bigger than a dinner plate now. She's not a fish snack anymore. Her shell is hard as armor. Her head is tough as a helmet. She's grown into her name, Loggerhead. She has come to eat crabs. Millions swim up from deep water to breed in the shallows. Their shells crack as easily as hen's eggs in her heavy jaws. But in a week, the feast is over and Loggerhead disappears again. Loggerhead wanders far and wide in search of food. In summer, to cool seaweed jungles where she finds juicy clams and shoals of shrimps. And in winter to turquoise lagoons, warm as a bath, where she can munch among corals. Loggerhead may travel thousands of miles, but she leaves no trace or track for you to follow. Only good luck will catch you a glimpse of her. For 30 years you might not find her. Then one summer night she arrives on the beach where she was born. She's found her way here, sensing north and south like a compass needle, feeling the current and the warmth of the waves. She remembers the taste of the water here and the sound of the surf. Male turtles wait just off the nesting beaches. They mate with the females. Then the females come ashore to lay eggs. Loggerhead has grown in her wandering years. She's big as a barrel now. Floating in the sea, she weighs nothing, but on land, she's heavier than a man. So every flipper step is a struggle, and her eyes stream with salty tears, which help keep them free of sand. Coming ashore is very risky for sea turtles. They can easily overheat and die. So they only nest at night or in cool weather. Then they get back to the sea as soon as possible. Loggerhead makes her nest where the sea won't reach. Scooping carefully with her hind flippers, she makes a steep, deep hole. Inside, she lays her eggs like 100 squidgy ping-pong balls. Afterward, she covers them with sand to hide her nest from hungry mouths. Then Loggerhead is gone again, back to her secret life. Left behind under the sand, her eggs stay deep and safe. Baby turtles grow inside. Females stay close to their nesting beach for several months. In that time, they usually make at least 4 nests, and sometimes as many as 10. And before the summer's over, the babies wriggle from their shells. Turtle eggs in warm sand can be ready to hatch in 6 weeks. If the sand is cool, they can take 3 weeks longer. Above the babies on the beach, 100 eyes watch, on the lookout for a meal. So the hatchlings wait until night. Then they burst free and skitter toward the sea. The horizon, where the sea meets the sky, tells baby turtles which way to turn to get to the water. But streetlights and buildings next to the beach can confuse them and make them go the wrong way. In the dark, claws and beaks and grabbing paws miss only one young turtle. One day she'll remember this beach and come back. But now she dives under the waves and swims. Swims and swims out into the arms of the ocean. Far, far out to sea, land becomes only a memory, waiting to wake in the head of the little turtle. The end.
Okay.
Jeannie, I wish to become a prince. I'm about to fed.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so that was the One Tiny Turtle story. Now I'm going to read to you the other story that they wanted you to read in just a moment. And it was called Trouble in the Ocean. So I'm going, if I can get my screen to go to it, I'm going to read that to you. All right, that's not what I wanted to do. My computer is not working well with me right now, so thanks for your patience. Here we go. All right. Trouble in the Ocean. Save the ocean animals. Some sea creatures need help. Many kinds of animals live in the ocean. Some of these animals are endangered. That means that they are in danger of dying out. Only a few are left in the world. Scientists are trying to keep endangered animals safe. Green sea turtle. The green sea turtle lives in warm waters. An adult green sea turtle eats mostly plants. It can weigh up to 440 pounds. Its shell can grow to 4 feet long. A green sea turtle can't pull its head into its shell the way some turtles can. Why are green sea turtles endangered? People hunt them for their meat and eggs. The turtles also get trapped in nets used to catch fish. Pollution hurts the turtles too. If turtles eat trash, it can kill them. The next one was the blue whale. The blue whale is the largest animal in the world. It is as big as an airplane. The whale can grow up to 90 feet long and weigh more than 100 tons. Remember, a ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. So that's a lot. So if you take 2,000 and multiply that by 100, that's how much a whale can grow. And then the blue whale lives in all the oceans. It eats tiny animals called krill. A blue whale can eat about 4 tons. Remember again, 4 tons is 2,000 pounds times 4, because each ton is 2,000 pounds. So that would be 8,000 pounds of krill each year. Blue whales are endangered. People once hunted them for their meat and fat. The fat was used to make oil for lamps. Special laws now protect blue whales, so people no longer hunt them. And then the great white shark, which this is interesting. I had no idea they were endangered, but the great white shark is the largest meat-eating shark. It grows to about 15 feet long. It weighs up to 5,000 pounds. The shark has rows of long, sharp teeth. It eats fish, dolphins, seals, and other ocean animals. Great white sharks are often found in waters near the coast. A coast is land next to the ocean. People are a threat to great white sharks. People hunt them for their teeth, jaws, and meat. The sharks also get caught in fishing nets. So those are 3 of the many, many animals that are endangered right now. All right, so we will go back to the smartboard now, maybe. My computer doesn't want to work with me. Here we go. Okay, so that was reading. There were no accompanying questions that you needed to answer, although if you want to write a summary on what you read or what you saw about the turtles, you certainly can. The next part was math, and it talks about patterns. Remember, patterns are repeated designs or reoccurring sequences or an ordered set of number, shapes, or other mathematical objects arranged according to a rule. In 3rd grade, you learn how to use tables and in and out charts to complete patterns and or find the rule. Use what you remember about patterns in the chart above to solve your problem. So here's just, it talks about different types of patterns. A repeating pattern is when you have the same pattern that just repeats over and over and over. And then a growing pattern is where that same pattern repeats, but each time it repeats, something else is added to it. And then that repeats and something is added to that. So I gave a few examples. Obviously, there were so many different ways you could have answered this problem. So I just gave a few examples. I used just colored circles to represent each one of the Skittles. And I showed 3 examples of repeating patterns. So the first one, I just put every single color, and then I did them again. And if I kept going, I would have done every color again in the same order. It has to be in the same order or it's not a pattern. And you can see here I underlined the actual pattern, what's actually repeating. The next one I just did yellow, purple, orange, yellow, purple, orange, yellow, purple, orange, yellow, purple, orange. So your pattern that's repeating is yellow, purple, orange. And then finally I did green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue. And what's repeating is underlined the green, blue. Then next I did 2 growing patterns. The first one started as red, purple, and then it became red, purple, purple, and then red, purple, purple, purple. So for that growing pattern, each time I was adding another purple. The next one started as green, yellow, then became green, yellow, blue, then green, yellow, blue, purple, then green, yellow, blue, purple, red. So for that one, each time I was just simply adding another color to the pattern. If you have any questions about the patterns you created, feel free to reach out to your teacher or your parents. Either one, we can help you with that, okay? And then I gave you a challenge. This could also have been done in different ways. It asks you to create an input-output table that follows the rule of multiplying by 7 from a number. So what I did simply is I put on one side my inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I just went in order. Those could be any numbers you want them to be, but since we're multiplying by 7, I thought it would just be easiest to do just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1 times 7 equals 7. So if I input 1 and my rule is to multiply by 7, my output then becomes 7. 2 times 7 equals 14. So if I input a 2 and I follow the rule of multiplying by 7, then I get 14. 3 multiplied by 7 gives you an output of 21. 4 multiplied by 7 gives you an output of 28, and 5 multiplied by 7 gives you an output of 35. So as I said, you could put any numbers in your input, and as long as that number times 7 becomes your output, then you did it correctly. And finally, for content, it talks a little bit about water conservation, and this is very important to think about. It says we can do many things at home to conserve our natural water sources. Some of these include turn off the water while brushing brushing your teeth or washing dishes. Take shorter showers, less than 5 minutes. Wash only full loads in your washing machine and dishwasher, because if you just wash a few things, you're wasting a lot of water. Water your lawn early in the morning or at dusk to prevent evaporation, because if you water it in the middle of the day when the sun's out, the water is going to evaporate before it can really do anything for your lawn. And then they asked you to think of some more ways to conserve water at home. Ask someone to brainstorm with you a list of other ways to conserve or reduce the amount of water. So I came up with a list, and yours may be different. Feel free to send me any of your ideas that I didn't come up with. I'd love to hear them. So number 1 says check toilets and sinks for leaks. This is a big one, especially toilets. Sometimes if you have a leaky toilet, you may not know, and it's just wasting water the entire time. Number 2, use water-saving faucets, shower heads, and toilets if possible. I know in my house, in one of our bathrooms, we do have one of the special water-saving toilets. So I try to use that as much as possible so that we can save water. Don't play with the water hose or sprinklers. Whenever you're playing with sprinklers or the water hose, you're just wasting all that water that's coming out. So think of another way to play with water without having to waste a ton. Take a bath in a partially filled tub. You don't need the bathtub filled up completely to take a bath. And also, if you take a bath in a partially filled tub, it wastes less water than most showers would. Use a broom instead of a water hose to clean sidewalks, porches, and steps. I see a lot of people cleaning like their sidewalk off with the water hose to get like all the dirt off. But that's just wasting water when you could just use a broom instead. If you use mulch around your trees and plants, it slows the water from evaporating, so you don't have to water them as often. Don't waste water waiting for it to get warm. I know sometimes when you need warm water, you just turn on the warm, and it takes a while of getting cold water before the water becomes warm. And a lot of people just let that water go down the drain while they're waiting. But you could put a bucket under it or a bowl and use that water while you're waiting for the water to get warm. Use that cooler water that's coming out to water your plants or clean vegetables or do anything else. Number 8, create a rain catcher and use that water to water your plants and trees. What this could be is anything that you could catch the rainwater in, a bucket, a bowl, anything that you could catch the rainwater in, and then you could in turn use that to water your plants when they needed watering, and your trees, instead of just letting that water go to waste. And then defrost food in your refrigerator, not under running water. I know a lot of people forget to defrost their food in their refrigerator, and so they put it under running water and just constantly let the water run while the food is defrosting under it. But that wastes a lot of water. And finally, reuse your towels. Just hang to dry properly after you bathe or shower. I know that I do this. Whenever I take a shower, I usually will dry myself off or dry my hair, and then I hang my towel up and I use it again. So I'll usually use it twice before I wash it, because as long as you hang it properly to dry, it should be fine. I mean, you're clean when you get out of the bath or shower and use it, so you can reuse it once or twice and save money from having to wash it. Okay, so that's all I have. Like I said, if you came up with anything that I didn't put on here, feel free to send it to me. I love thinking of new ways to help save the environment. Okay, friends, that's all for today. If you have any questions, please reach out to your teacher or ask your parents, but really utilize your teachers as much as possible. Your parents have enough going on right now, and that's what we're here for. So email us and let us know any of your questions. Okay, friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week, and a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I will see you guys later. Bye.